Chapter 15. The National Income Aggregate Social Product and National Income Aggregate Social Product. The total value of goods and services produced within a society over a specific time period, e.g. a year. National income. The portion of the aggregate social product that represents newly created value, essentially the value of final goods and services. It excludes the value of intermediate goods used in production. Calculated as aggregate social product, value of consumed means of production, equivalent to the sum of variable capital, wages, and surplus value profit. Sources of national income, primarily created by workers in material production, industry, agriculture, construction, transport. Also includes value created by small producers like peasants and artisans. Non-productive sectors do not directly contribute to national income. This includes government, finance, trade, except for production-related activities, healthcare, entertainment, etc. Unproductive labor, labor that does not contribute to the national income, including exploiting classes and their dependents. Police, bureaucracy, and military. Activities related to competition, speculation, and excessive advertising. Limitations on national income growth in capitalism. Anarchy of production, economic crises, and underutilization of capacity. High unemployment, bloated state apparatus, and growing non-productive sectors. Increasing proportion of people engaged in circulation, rather than production. Declining growth in the U.S. The U.S. has experienced a long-term decline in the growth rate of its national income, illustrating these limitations. Distribution of the national income exploitative foundation. Capitalists and landlords own the means of production, enabling them to exploit workers and peasants, and control the distribution of the national income in their favor. Flow of national income. Workers create the national income through their labor. Industrial capitalists receive the full value of produced commodities, including variable capital, wages, and surplus value profit. Surplus value is then distributed among various exploiting classes. Industrial capitalists keep a portion as profit. Merchant capitalists receive a share as merchants' profit. Bankers receive interest. Landowners receive ground rent. Earned versus unearned income. Workers' income is earned through their labor. Capitalists and landlords receive unearned income, derived from the exploitation of workers and peasants. Further redistribution and exacerbated inequality. Taxes disproportionately burden workers, and further increase the income of capitalists and officials. High payments for services in non-productive sectors transfer income from the productive sectors to capitalists in those non-productive sectors. This redistribution intensifies the impoverishment of the working class. Shrinking workers' share. The working class receives a disproportionately small share of the national income, typically less than half, despite comprising the majority of the population. This share continues to decline over time, while the share of the exploiting classes grows. Use of national income. Consumption. Workers' consumption is often insufficient to meet basic needs. Capitalists and landowners engage in excessive and parasitic consumption. Accumulation. A relatively small portion is reinvested in production due to high consumption by capitalists. Significant spending on circulation costs, advertising, speculation, etc. Increasing military expenditure, and the expansion of the state apparatus. Fetishism of income. Capitalism obscures the true source of income, making it appear as if profit arises from capital itself and rent from land, concealing the exploitation of labor. Bourgeois distortion of national income. Bourgeois economists promote misleading theories that obfuscate the exploitative nature of income distribution. They understate the income of capitalists and overstate the income of workers. They conceal the extent of parasitic consumption, unproductive expenditures, and military spending. The state budget purpose. The bourgeois state exists to maintain the dominance of the exploiting minority, capitalists and landlords, over the exploited majority, workers and peasants. It achieves this through control of all aspects of domestic and foreign policy. State apparatus. The state possesses a vast network of institutions to enforce its power, including the military, police, courts, prisons, intelligence agencies, and various means of administrative and ideological control. This apparatus is funded through the state budget. State budget. The state budget is a tool for redistributing national income in favor of the exploiting classes. It is essentially a class budget that prioritizes the interests of the bourgeoisie. Unproductive expenditure. The majority of state spending is unproductive, focused on war and militarism. A huge portion is allocated to military spending, weapons development, and foreign intervention. Repression. Significant resources are used to maintain an apparatus for suppressing dissent and controlling the working class. Capitalist subsidies. The state often provides direct financial support to capitalist businesses, particularly during crises, ensuring their profitability. Neglect of social needs. Spending on essential social services like healthcare, education, and housing is minimal. Taxes as exploitation. Taxes serve as a mechanism for further exploiting the working class by transferring wealth from them to the bourgeoisie. Direct taxes, levied on individuals' income. Indirect taxes, added to the price of goods and services, disproportionately impacting the poor. Tax burden on the working class. The bourgeoisie employs various tactics to minimize their tax burden, including tax evasion and lobbying for policies that favor them. The working class bears the brunt of taxation, with a significant portion of their wages going towards funding the state. Loans and debt. The state relies heavily on loans, especially to finance wars, further enriching capitalists through arms contracts. These loans ultimately lead to increased taxes on the working class to pay off the debt and interest. Inflation. The state also generates revenue by printing money, leading to inflation that erodes the purchasing power of the working class and effectively transfers wealth to the state. Conclusion. The state budget under capitalism is a tool for robbing the working class, enriching the capitalist class, promoting unproductive and parasitic use of the national income, maintaining and expanding the repressive apparatus of the state,